Good morning, boys and girls. Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired, back here once again. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate you watching. I made a comment. I always talk about how much I appreciate the comments that I get, because I really do, and because they're nice. Thank you. But there was a suggestion this morning. I'm retired now, so I'm really not called on anymore. A lot of people call me called on. So I got to figure out a different way to dress. I dress like this because I've been dressing like this every day for a long time working. And now that I'm not working, I don't need to worry about it as much. So I guess I need to find something else to wear. So somebody in the comment section suggested that I get a shirt with my channel name on it. And a couple of weeks ago, someone had suggested that I get a shirt that says, "Tighten up, Elmer." Which, when I'm rich and famous, that's what I'm going to do. Until then, I'm probably going to keep on wearing these called down shirts, just because it's just what I'm used to. I don't change very well. I'm a creature of habit. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I already made a couple of videos this morning and posted them, but this story came into mind, and I had a few minutes and thought, why not? So let me tell you a story just for fun. I was a kid. I don't know exactly how old I was. 10 or 11, 12. I know that it was before my 13th birthday. I know that. But I don't know exactly when it was. And I'm out, it's a summer day, and I'm out screwing around in my dad's garage, and he's out in the yard doing something and whatever. And up in front of the house pulls up my dad's friend, Chester. Chester drove a fire engine red 1968, I think it was, 68 Plymouth Belvedere station wagon. And he kept that car spotlessly clean inside and out. That was a beautiful car. It really was. Bright, shiny red. I had seen the car many times before, but this time there was something different about it. On the back bumper, on those bumper mounts that they used to put motorcycles on the back bumper was a Honda S90. It was red too, by the way. It was a Honda S90 on the bumper. And in the back of the station wagon was Chester's son, Chris. Chris was my age. I saw that motorcycle on the back of the car, and I saw Chris sitting in the back of that station wagon. He had the back window open. He was just sitting there smiling, grinning at that motorcycle. And, of course, I was a motorcycle kid. And Chester got out of the car, went up to talk to my dad, and Chris sat there in the back of that station wagon staring at that motorcycle. And I went down there and talked to Chris, and I remember, wow, Chris, you got a motorcycle. Yeah, it doesn't run, but my dad's going to fix it. Hang on, dry throat, hang on. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, it doesn't run, but my dad's gonna fix it, and we're gonna ride it around the yard, and it's gonna be so much fun. And we stood out there talking, and he was so happy. He was so happy and so proud to have that bike on the back of that station wagon, and he had a new bike, and the kid was just in love. The kid was just in love. Now, I'm gonna tell you that Chris was a good kid, okay? He had some troubles later on in life that were just horrible. We're going to sidetrack a little bit. Let's move a few years on in Chris's life. Chris, and I think, it was different back then. Things were different. Personally, I think Chris and I think he had 3 sisters. I don't think he had a brother. I think he had 3 sisters. I think Chris and their 3 sisters were not treated very well by their parents. Let's put it that way. Especially by Chester. Chester was brutal. I was scared to death of Chester. Had Chester stayed in the car, when he pulled up out front of my parents' house with that motorcycle on the back, had he stayed in the car, I would not have gone down there. The only reason I went down there was because he got out and went to go talk to my dad. And of course, the motorcycle was on the car, so I'm going to go down there and talk to Chris. But if he'd have stayed in the car, I wouldn't have gone down there. I was scared to death of that guy. He really was brutal. And I think some of Chris's problems later on in life may have roots there. Chris, I'm getting sidetracked here. I'm going to end up taking a 5-minute story and turn it into to an hour-long tale. But I guess I kind of feel it's kind of important to me. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to continue on. It just goes. So Chris had some trouble later on in life. Evidently, he became a pretty serious alcoholic. Things did not go well for him for a very long time. He hit rock bottom more than once. I don't remember seeing him more than once or twice after this meeting with the motorcycle in the station wagon. And of course, I ended up leaving town. Hang on. Yeah, thank you. I ended up leaving town, and I guess he stayed behind, but I understand life got pretty rough for the guy, and he ended up meeting a woman who helped him get his act together, which a woman can do for a man. A woman can do that for a man. He ended up sobered up and walking a straight line, and I was talking to my mom. She was telling me about him one day. She called me up to let me know, to talk to me about Chris. So this woman evidently helped him out. She straightened him out, and he found purpose in his life, and he was actually doing very well. And his wife used to go walk down the railroad tracks, walk the dogs down the railroad tracks, or maybe she went jogging, and I don't remember. Seems to me it was that she used to go walk down the railroad tracks, and there was some bum living out there off the railroad tracks somewhere that decided one day that he needed to SA assault Chris's wife, and then stop her from living anymore, which didn't do Chris any good. Sad story. But, anyway. So let's go back to the station wagon. So Chris is in the back of the station wagon, and the motorcycle's on the back bumper, and Chris is all proud and happy because he's got a motorcycle. They're fixing to go home. They're going to get it running. Him and his dad's going to ride it, and he's going to invite me over so I can come ride it, and yada, yada, yada. And a few minutes later, I hear Chris's dad hollering, which was standard procedure, hollering at Chris to get out of the car. And they're walking down. My dad and Chester were walking down towards the station wagon, and they walked up behind the station wagon, and they took the station wagon off the bumper and pushed it up into our garage. As it turns out, Chester was not taking the bike home for Chris. He was delivering it to my father because my father had gotten it for me, which was super nice of my father to do. But it probably would have been a good idea for Chester to let Chris know that the motorcycle wasn't for him, because Chris was devastated. And I mean devastated. One thing little boys, which is what we were, never do, is cry in front of other little boys or their fathers. It's not an acceptable practice. And Chris went and sat in the back of that station wagon, in the back seat of that station wagon, and proceeded to bawl his eyes out, which made his father mad, and his father just barked at him, you know. But Chris was devastated. And I was in a bad spot now because I am elated that I've got him. My dad got me a motorcycle. Doesn't run, but we'll fix it. At the same time, my friend Chris, who thought the motorcycle was for him, is devastated. So I wasn't really sure what to do. Obviously, I was a kid. The excitement took me over. I went running up in the garage and looking at the bike with my dad. And Chester came up in the garage for a minute. Chris stayed in the car. Chester came up in the garage for a minute. Him and my dad talked a little bit, and then Chester left. And there I was with a shiny red, not running, 1965 Honda S90. And there's 1,000 more stories about trying to make that motorcycle run. And in fact, we did get it to run one day. I rode it around the backyard in circles for 5 minutes. I think that was the total ride time that I ever had on it. After that, it just, my dad and my brother worked on it. I'm getting long here. My dad and my brother worked on it to get it going. I couldn't do it. But neither of them two really had a lot of time to spend with it. And I couldn't do it myself, so whatever I tried probably made it worse. So it ended up going away, which is a whole another story. But that bright red station wagon, by the way, I wonder how long this is going to last. I'm over 12 minutes. Let's see what happens. That bright red station wagon, by the way, one day, my dad ended up buying that car from Chester, and he had it for about 6 months, and somebody ran a stop sign and hit him in the left front wheel and pushed the car up over the curb and up underneath, windshield deep, up underneath somebody's house, which was the end of that one. All right, I got to get off of here. I'm out of time. Thank you very much for being here. This is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Don't forget to, the spiel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. It really helps the channel grow. I could use to gain a couple subscribers back, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Problems or questions, let me know. Appreciate your comments. Elmer's going to take us out. Let's go, Elmer. Now, you see, that was 2 clicks, and it didn't work.